Hello, this is Dean Takahashi from VentureBeat. I'm here with Steve Scott, who's the Chief Technology Officer for Tesla products at Nvidia.
Hi, Dean.
Hi, how are you? Tell us about the Tesla division. What do you guys make for Nvidia or do at Nvidia?
Well, Tesla is the division at Nvidia that makes general purpose computers out of GPUs. So Nvidia is known for a graphics company. We make GPUs that are used for gamers, for high-end video editing and production, for high-end engineers and scientists doing visualization. But also with Tesla, we're using them for general purpose computing, so all areas of scientific and technical computing.
And you guys just announced a very interesting deal today where you're going to have 18,000 Tesla GPUs going into, I guess, the world's biggest supercomputer.
Yeah, Oak Ridge National Labs in Tennessee, which is the world's premier open science computing facility, just announced that they are building their next generation supercomputer Titan powered by Nvidia GPUs. So when fully configured, the system would have over 18,000 GPUs and providing upwards of 20 petaflops of performance. So it's more than twice as fast as the world's fastest computer today, and more than 3 times as energy efficient to boot.
And this is unusual because I guess these kinds of computers really used to use only CPUs or microprocessors, I guess. Right?
Yeah, the high-performance computing world has run into a huge roadblock in terms of power usage. Nowadays, we're actually constrained by the power for the transistors on a chip, not how many transistors we can put on a chip. And so performance is really being determined now by power efficiency. And the standard way of building supercomputers using general purpose CPUs is really not going to provide the increased levels of performance given the available power constraints moving forward.
And I guess this is on the path toward exascale computing as well.
Right, the world is trying to get to an exaflop computer that's a billion operations every second by the end of this decade. And we're seeing some pretty hard technical challenges getting there. And so Oak Ridge has made the determination that they've got to use accelerated computing technology based on Nvidia GPUs in order to get the power efficiency, to get the level of performance they need.
So we're at 20 petaflops now for this world's fastest, soon to be world's fastest supercomputer, but you've got to get to about 1,000 petabytes, I guess.
We're trying to get to
petaflops.
By the end of the decade, we're trying to get to 1,000 petaflops. The high performance computer guys talk about factors of 1,000. So a teraflop computer, which is a 10 to the 12 operations per second, and then there's a petaflop computer, which we just got to in 2008, which is 10 to the 15 operations per second. Exaflop computer is the next factor of 1,000, 10 to the 18 operations. That's a 1 followed by 18 zeros. That's the one that we're running into the power challenges on.
And I guess it's a different kind of processing. I guess CPUs versus GPUs. CPUs have a few cores, and graphics chips, GPUs, have many different cores.
Yeah, CPUs and GPUs were really designed to do different things. A CPU was designed to do a few things really fast, and a GPU was designed to do hundreds of things in parallel, not caring so much about how fast each individual one gets done, but instead worrying about power efficiency. So a GPU, as it turns out, is about 8 times more power efficient than a CPU. So by taking a CPU and a GPU and coupling them together, the GPU can do all the heavy lifting and do the bulk of the work in a very power efficient manner. And then the work that's left over that can't be done in parallel gets run on the CPU and gets done quickly because of the design of a CPU.
So I guess if you add one Nvidia GPU into the supercomputer here, you can sort of do without a number of CPUs, I guess.
Yeah, each GPU really takes the place of about 5 or 8 CPUs in terms of how much work it can get done.
And on your end, you're selling Tesla chips for really about a couple $1,000s each, I guess, right?
I think the street pricing is 2,000 plus per GPU. Yeah.
So for the sort of status quo of the chip industry here, it looks like this can change the picture in an interesting way.
I think the picture is definitely going to be changed. the computing technology as we've known it over the past few decades is fundamentally coming up against some barriers. And so heterogeneous computing that pays much more attention to energy efficiency is really the only viable path going forward to get to the next level of performance over the coming years.
So Intel may be a little nervous about this.
I suspect Intel is a little bit nervous, yes.
So what are some of the things that you could really do with this kind of exascale supercomputer?
Exaflop computers are necessary for a variety of different topics. Basically, every single area of science right now is being moved forward with high-performance computing, whether it's simulating the climate, whether it's simulating next-generation biofuels or more efficient engine designs, whether it's doing modeling at the molecular level or modeling cellular biology in order to better understand disease and provide medical treatments. Every single area of science is being driven forward by high-performance computing. And there are a number of problems that can really only be solved with exaflop level computing that have huge societal impact.
Climate change is one you mentioned before, I guess, and the level of detail that you have to be able to understand or compute.
That's right. The climate scientists believe that they need a 1 kilometer grid, basically modeling data points at every kilometer over the entire surface of the Earth to build an accurate Earth system model that takes into account all the different chemical and physical processes going on, that can accurately model cloud convection and ocean eddies. And you just can't do that with today's computers. In fact, they think they'll need an exaflop level of computing power in order to do that. And that's incredibly important for society because we need that to understand, to truly understand how the global climate will evolve and to explore different mitigation strategies for doing something about it.
It's a little funny to think that the graphics chips that bring us our high-end games are also going to help us understand global warming.
It's incredible the convergence of technologies. We have Nvidia GPUs in this cell phone, and the same thing that's important in the cell phone is important in a supercomputer, and that's performance per watt. So increasingly we're going to see the technology that drives high-end computing all the way up to supercomputers being really driven out of consumer technology, because that's where all the volume is.
And volume's a big deal here. I guess you couldn't say design just a many-core chip for these supercomputers unless you were actually selling lots of small graphics chips.
That's right. The high-performance computing market is incredibly important in terms of the value that we get out of it as a society, but the market's just not big enough to support the development of next-generation processors. Nvidia could never create the processors we do without having the very large graphics market there driving that innovation.
Cool, very good. Thank you very much. That's Steve Scott from Nvidia.
Glad to talk to you.